Hello, I'm Bolan, and I welcome you to another Bollard Show. And today we will talk about China-Taiwan conflict. So let's get started.
December 2024, Chinese President Xi Jinping had said that he would capture Taiwan by the end of this year, but it is March 2025 and nothing has happened yet. But this is not the first time. Before this he had said the same thing in 2023, 2022, 2021. For decades, China has considered Taiwan a part of its territory. A lost province waiting to be reunified. Yet, despite its military might and aggressive rhetoric, China has not launched a full-scale invasion of Taiwan. Why? What stops one of the world's most powerful nations from taking what it claims as its own? Today, we unravel this complex geopolitical puzzle. The history of China and Taiwan. To understand the present, we must first dive into the past. Taiwan, historically known as Formosa, was ruled by various powers, including the Dutch and the Qing dynasty. But its modern-day conflict with China traces back to the Chinese Civil War. After losing to the Communist forces in 1949, the nationalist government, led by Chiang Kai-shek, fled to Taiwan and established the Republic of China. Meanwhile, Mao Zedong's Communist Party founded the People's Republic of China on the mainland. Since then, Beijing has never stopped claiming Taiwan as its own, even though Taiwan has operated as a separate government for over 70 years. The current scenario. Fast forward to today, Taiwan is a thriving democracy with a booming economy, world-class technology, and strong ties to the West. But across the strait, China has been ramping up its military threats, conducting aggressive air drills, and repeatedly stating that reunification is inevitable. The United States and its allies have vowed to support Taiwan, making this one of the most volatile flashpoints in global politics. Why does China want to capture Taiwan? So, why is China so determined to take Taiwan? There are three major reasons: political, economic, and strategic. First, political. Taiwan's independence is a challenge to China's communist rule. If Taiwan can stay democratic, it might inspire other people in China to demand the same. The current president of China, Xi Jinping, is an ambitious person. Mao was the most influential person in China, and Xi Jinping wants to become even more influential than him, and he cannot do this without capturing Taiwan. Economic. Taiwan is home of TSMC, the world's largest semiconductor manufacturer, vital for global technology. Currently, the US has banned the export of advanced chips to China. If China captures Taiwan, it can capture the chip industry of the whole world. This can end its dependence on America in the chip matter. And third, strategic. Taiwan is at an important point in the South China Sea. Cargo ships from Japan and South Korea pass through this route. If China captures Taiwan, it can keep an eye on this sea route and can also do its work on the South China Sea and can increase its influence on the countries situated in the South China Sea and can reduce the influence of America and Western countries here. How China might attack Taiwan. China has several strategies in mind. China has the largest army in the world and the third largest air force and navy in the world. It could launch an all-out invasion with its massive military, impose a naval blockade to strangle Taiwan's economy, or conduct cyber warfare to disable critical infrastructure. However, any military action comes with severe risks, which brings us to the big question: why hasn't China acted yet? What stops China from attacking? There are major obstacles that make China hesitate. First, Taiwan has built strong defenses, with advanced missile systems and a well-trained military. It continuously receives advanced weapons from America and Western countries, and warships of Western countries also keep coming to Taiwan for its security. Of course, Taiwan has a much smaller army than China, but it can cause a lot of damage to China's forces. Second, and if China attacks Taiwan, India can also open a front on its borders with China to liberate its areas from Chinese occupation, and the Indian army is the only army in Asia that can defeat China. If this happens, China may have to fight a war on two different fronts, which is very dangerous for it, and America can also come to help Taiwan and India. No matter how powerful China is, it is never in a position to fight a war with America. And America wants that China should somehow come into the war, and as soon as it comes, it will push China back by 20 years. Because America keeps fighting somewhere or the other every year and India keeps conducting war exercises with many countries every year. Whereas China has not fought a war with anyone for years. Third, sanctions. Currently China is a manufacturing hub and its economy is highly dependent on international trade. If China attacks Taiwan, then Western countries will impose many sanctions on it like they imposed on Russia, and if this happens then China's economy will collapse completely. And then China will no longer be a superpower. The consequences of a Chinese invasion. If China does attack, the consequences would be catastrophic. A full-scale war could drag in the United States, India, Japan, and NATO, escalating into World War III. The global economy would suffer a massive blow, especially in the tech industry. Worst of all, millions of lives would be at stake. The world cannot afford such a disaster. Why the world must stop China. Given these stakes, the world must work together to prevent an invasion. Strengthening Taiwan's defenses, enforcing diplomatic pressure, and ensuring economic deterrence are crucial. Peace is the only viable path forward, and we must make sure China understands that war is not an option.
And if China still doesn't agree, then eliminate China from this world.